Hey guys, we are at the conclusion of the KonMari method. So I will say one thing, there is a final category that I skipped. It is the sentimental items category, and the reason I didn't do it is because I accidentally did it during a different category. A lot of my sentimental items were like pictures and papers and cards, and I took care of all that during paper without realizing it. I was just like, I'll put it in this box for sentimental stuff, and then I'll do the rest later. And then for the kimono category, anything that wasn't paper or a card also went into that box, and before I knew it, sentimental happened like that. So that's why that category has been skipped. I hope that clears things up. So I'm making this video kind of as a send-off to the project. I'm very proud of myself. It was a pretty rough ride, actually. I started this gigantic project while I was doing a show, and on top of that I got sick at one point, and on top of that work got really stressful just because a lot of stuff came up all at once. So it wasn't the best time to do it, but I feel like I never would have found a best time, because when I started it, I didn't know all that stuff was gonna come up. I mean, I knew about the show, but I didn't know I was gonna get sick. I didn't know what was coming up at work. I just started it thinking it was a good time. I mean, now, of course, everything's kind of like summer chill, but like I said, like I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known. I will confess, these videos were released like long after I finished. I finished this method in like March, and I was still releasing these videos into May, I guess just because they're not like my usual content. I guess I was a little insecure to show a very natural side to my life. But now that I've done it, I really like it. But I will say, having finished the KonMari method a few months ago and now living with it for the past few months, that was redundant, I feel like makes this I feel like makes this outro video a little more meaningful, because I can actually kind of tell you what it was like to live with it. As far as an initial reaction to finishing it, I was just ecstatic. I'll never forget like throwing out the last piece of garbage and it was done. The initial excitement was just, it was excitement. But having lived with it, I can tell you that it actually has changed my life, and that's not an exaggeration. There was a time where if my room got messy, it was just gonna be like that. And when the time came for me to like clean it up and organize, it was stressful. It made me sad, it made me angry, I didn't want to do it. And even when I was in the mood to do it, I didn't know where anything went. I was like, I didn't have a place for anything, and then there were some things that I didn't even really know what it was. I didn't really want it anymore, but I didn't know how to handle it. But ever since I did this method, cleaning up has been a breeze. My room has never been organized for a few months at a time. Like, even if I have days where I'm working on like maybe a lot of sewing projects or paper projects, or if I'm like filming and there's lights everywhere, it's easy to clean up because I know exactly where they go and where they belong. And every single item in my room officially has a place for itself. And I realized that was one of the biggest struggles I had, was I had things that I didn't have a place for it. It didn't have its own shelf. It didn't have its own space. I always assumed I needed more bookshelves when I didn't. Because after this process, I have a few empty shelves now that I've been using just as cubbies for my current purses. Not a bad idea, I recommend it. But now it's so easy. I just know where to put everything. Has anybody ever watched The Big Comfy Couch? I remember being a young child and thinking that the 10-second tidy was a hoax. Cause I was like, nobody can clean up that much that quickly. But like, I think Lunette the Clown knew what was up. I'm not even joking. This morning, my room was covered with fabric, film stuff. My one pair of shoes were like separated, and there was stuff that needed to be recycled everywhere. I had a weird night last night. I made that entire mess last night. And I managed to clean it up in like, okay, 10 seconds is like ridiculous. I managed, like, without exaggerating, I cleaned up the entire thing in 2 minutes. I don't know. The rain kind of hit at the right time. I just feel at peace. I feel really good. I've been talking for like 10 minutes now. It's probably shorter because I probably edited a lot out. This has been me KonMariing. Applying the KonMari method to my room. I would say it's a big success. Thank you for following me on this journey. If you did it too, let me know how it went. So have a great one, guys.